Girl, you okay or not?
I don't know leh. Suddenly I keep sneezing non-stop. I think must be a lot of people scolding me right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe it's those people from that previous video.
Oh, you mean those people who left harsh comments on the 40-year-old flats, is it?
Yeah, maybe, but anyway, let's continue with recording this video.
Jazz 9.21 slates 1 and 2, take 1.
So yes, that's why I'm doing this video to explain why I did that previous video on 40-year-old properties the way I did it. So recently, I made a video about why some HDB owners might want to consider selling their 40-year-old flats, especially before lease decay affects the value too much. Basically, I was talking about the disadvantages of holding on to 40-year-old or even older flats, and how it would be more difficult to sell them in the future given the market we are in. And since that video, I've received some really strong reactions. Some people said I sounded pushy, that I was trying to pressure people to sell. Some likened me to a politician that many don't like, especially on my tone. Others even alleged that I was scamming buyers, saying that if I think old flats are losing value, then why am I still selling these old flats to someone else? Wouldn't it become the buyer's problem then? While I thank everyone for voicing their concerns and even displeasures at what I shared in my video, I think I need to explain myself somewhat. I mean, even to those viewers who agreed with me, I think what I'm going to say in this video would add on value to what I've shared before. But before I continue, I need to caveat one thing, which is one of my shortcomings. My husband has always said that I'm bad at expressing myself, not so much verbally, but through the tone of my voice and maybe my gestures. I'm somewhat aware of that, but it's something that I'm not very good at expressing the way I want to express. Bottom line is, please continue to help me be aware of any parts of the video you feel uncomfortable or even feel offensive about. I understand the majority of those comments are meant well for me to see my shortcomings, but I hope you can bear with me while I try to manage my tone, my expressions, and my gestures. Okay? Alright, with those out of the way, do let me explain more clearly on the concerns that you had in the previous video, and I'll just address them head on. First and foremost, and I think this might get me even more hate comments. Many people don't like property agents because they think that they are making a lot of money from doing a simple job. Yes, it's true for a minority of agents, and especially for those who flaunt their wealth with their watches and their cars. But this is not a topic for me to comment on. I can assure you that the majority of agents are just doing what any honest salespeople are doing. Many people might not like salesmen, but salespeople, including property agents, are still professionals. Viewers might infer that because I shared hard truth on a touchy matter in the market, that I'm fear-mongering. And through doing that, I am drumming up sales. Now, I cannot change your perspective, but that doesn't change the fact that the problem, or rather the consequences of holding on to 40-year-old properties are real. It exists whether we like it or not. And for people who don't like to face this fact, they either choose to ignore it or defend the matter. Which is fine, because I'm not here to convince everyone that this matter is bad. Because the truth is, there are owners who don't need to sell. But conversely, there will be owners who need to consider the fact that their financial future could really depend on the decision to sell or not. So ultimately, as an agent, as a salesperson, I need to be professional in what I do. People might not like my professional takes, but that doesn't stop me from sharing my take. It's like financial advisors, or what many like to call insurance agents. This group of professionals, and yes, they are professionals because like agents, they need to pass exams and adhere to strict conducts. Anyway, these financial advisors are selling a product that not all will need, and in their sharing, they're educating, what they say could be misconstrued as being fear-mongering. But is the service of selling insurance wrong? No, I give you another more everyday example. The other day, the aircon man came to service my aircon units. After the cleaning, he told me that I need to top up the gas in the compressors if I want to be assured that my aircon continues to work properly. He also warned me that if I don't do it soon, there's no telling when my aircon system would break down or something like that. I mean, was he fear-mongering? Maybe some would think so, but to me, he's just doing his job by stating statistical facts. You don't top up gas, there's a chance of the aircon breaking down. I mean, if he didn't say so and my aircon breaks down in the future, maybe I will then blame him for not telling me earlier. Isn't this the same with health professionals warning about potential consequences if we don't exercise or watch our diet? Or a guy on an attraction warning you against putting your hands outside the ride, even though not everyone's hands are long enough to get stuck? Or the car salesman advising you not to rev your new car during the first 1,000 kilometers? I give you another example that's not sales related. I love to watch law dramas, and all these shows will feature lawyers, specifically the prosecutors and the defense. These people are professionals, obviously. But how many times have we watched in a law serial that a prosecutor, even though she knows that the defendant is a victim of circumstances, that she still has to do her job to prosecute her, in other words, to make the defendant appear guilty in front of the jury? Or more so, how many times does the defendant lawyer just need to do his job, even though he knows he is defending a murdering, lying scum? They are just doing their jobs professionally, representing the clients they have. The same is true for us in the night of property sales, because the reality is there are generally two groups of clients, the sellers and the buyers. And correspondingly, our service rendered to selling and buying are two very different processes, just like the people involved. As a professional, I need to represent either a seller or a buyer in one property transaction. I cannot serve both, and all agents are barred from doing so legally. So, if a seller comes to me, I need to professionally represent her and not think about the buyer. I need to think for my seller client, much like how a prosecutor cannot consider personal talks for the defendant. And even when a seller wants to sell the flat, does it mean I'll jump in just to close a deal and earn a commission? Like I said, as agents, as professionals who are bound by regulations, we have a responsibility to guide the seller or the owner in this case, especially when the flat is older and the stakes are higher. We look at things like the property's age, location, which phasing it is, and the personal financials like the accrued CPF interest, whether selling will affect their retirement sum, and what the net proceeds will be after paying off the loan or refunding CPF. For seniors, these decisions matter even more. We have to consider the next step. Are they downsizing? Are they moving in with their children? Are they buying another unit? Take this example. A couple living in a large executive apartment that's 40 years old. Their children are grown up and have moved out. They no longer need such a big space. In cases like this, downsizing to a 3-room flat might make a lot of sense. To me, with the right planning, they can unlock a good amount of cash proceeds from the sale, which can help fund their retirement lifestyle while still living comfortably. So no, unlike what some of the viewers think, it's not about pushing people to sell. It's certainly not fear-mongering unless you choose to think it is. For me, it's about helping those in a unique situation to understand all the options so that they can make the right decision for the future. I mean, like some people who come to me, even after weeks of lengthy messaging, face-to-face meetings, and even shooting videos for the properties to be sold, they change their minds. And it's okay because at that point of time, their situation has changed and they're entitled to decide based on the options I've presented to them. I mean, I was disappointed, of course, because I've lost time and money serving them in the weeks before. But like I said, they had options. And conversely, for the buyers of 40-year-old properties, they are not stupid. For those who have commented adversely against me for urging owners to sell their old flats, I would think they agree that buyers won't be crazy enough to buy old flats, right? But the reality is, there are still hundreds, if not thousands of transactions every year of people buying 40, 50, even 60-year-old properties. Does that make these buyers stupid then? No, they are not. Because many of these buyers come with their own agents who are professionals to help them make informed decisions too. These buyers are made to understand the pros and cons such as remaining lease, location and price. And even if they don't have an agent, such buyers would carefully weigh these factors against their needs, lifestyle and budget too. So no, it's not a matter of me pushing something onto buyers of old flats with decaying lease. It's about offering options that fit different people's unique situations. Let me share a practical example. In mature estates like Tiong Bahru or Queenstown, brand new flats are rare and expensive. Not every buyer has the budget to buy something newer in these locations. Does it mean there will be zero buyers for the older 40-plus-year-old flats there? No, because those older flats tend to be much bigger, which is something many buyers could really appreciate. In fact, I've met buyers looking for older 5-room flats in Toa Payoh, in Ang Mo Kio, even in Yishun. Precisely because they're so spacious, they can actually create a 4th bedroom from the unit. If they need 4 bedrooms, but don't have $1 million budget for an executive apartment, this becomes a smart alternative with the space, the function, and the affordability all made available in one affordable property that they can potentially pay in cash. Thus, no more CPF accrued interest problem, no more CPF limit, and no worries about lease decay. And then, there's the location and lifestyle factor. For example, in Marine Parade, some of the flats are old, but they offer stunning sea views. For some buyers, even young couples I've seen, that view is worth the trade-off of the age. Because there's no way they can afford a 2.5 million private property next door with the same view, even if they are 40 years old. But a 1 million 4-room flat, even though it's 45 years old, is an option they can happily accept. They are not just about buying a lease in this case. They are buying space, flexibility, and a lifestyle that suits their needs. So no, I'm not being dishonest because I want to make money from a sale. And like I said in that video, I'm not forcing anyone to buy or sell. What I am doing is explaining the realities of the market based on experience and data. And yes, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's fear-mongering or not, I still have to warn viewers that lease decay is real. There is no escaping this fact. And the reality is, older flats will likely see the value drop over time. That's something every seller should be aware of. And so, I appreciate those viewers who agreed with me, and especially those who approached me for a consult. If you are one of those who contacted me and you're watching this video, perhaps you could share if I coerce you into selling your flat. In fact, for some of whom I think unsuitable, I caution them against selling their 40-year-old flats because their financials could be made worse if they sell. So, in a nutshell, as a property agent, I serve both buyers and sellers, but never at the same time. When I represent a seller, I focus on their interest. When I serve a buyer, I guide them based on their goals and situation. As much as some people hate our trade, I can assure you that the majority of us are just doing our job according to our code, our ethics, and our professionalism. And for me, this involves me sharing hard truths like lease decays and warnings about 40-year-old flats that some people don't like to know about or choose to ignore or think is fear-mongering. If you still think I'm a con, I guess the nearly 500 likes on my video suggest that I'm not doing a disservice to the majority of people. Hate me for what I do, comment adversely if you must. I don't think I have done anything wrong. Well, except a calculation of the interest that 2 viewers pointed out. To whom you are, I thank you for that. So, my name is Jessica. If you are thinking of selling your older apartment, or even if you are wondering whether an older flat is right for you to buy, I'm here to talk. No hard selling, no fear-mongering, just honest advice. Like, comment, and share this video, okay? I'll see you in the next one.